the psychic and the tennis pastor. Coming at you with a quick preview. Federer versus Paire. Let's get it going. Okay, I'm making this quick. I got Federer beating Paire in straight sets. Federer looked very impressive the first round. Gave his first round opponent a clinic. So Federer's level, he is playing at a high level. That's good news for Federer fans. But like I told y'all, Federer, listen, if Federer needs to prove to me he can beat the Djokovic, that's the only thing. It looks like, now Federer could face Kyrgios, but I think Kyrgios, he could be in a little trouble right now. But listen, Kyrgios, he got to get past his match. But I think Federer will be playing Kyrgios in the next round. I do think Federer is playing at a high enough level maybe to beat Kyrgios. I think he can beat Kyrgios, but I will preview that. If it happens, if Kyrgios and both Federer win their next round, win this round, make it to the third round. But let me just say this: Federer is playing well, super well. Now y'all know I got the Djokovic as favorite number 1, then I got Nadal number 2, but I got Federer number 3. And I did say this now. I got a gut feeling that Federer could win the US Open. But I am taking, listen, if it's Federer versus the Djokovic, I told y'all I'm taking the Djokovic. Federer, he needs to prove to me he can beat the Djokovic. And I don't care. Both of them playing at somebody can argue that Federer is playing better than the Djokovic. But I've seen people, listen, the last 3 slam finals that the Djokovic beat Federer, Federer was favored in 2 of those. He was actually playing better than the Djokovic going into the final. The Djokovic, one of those Wimbledons, the Djokovic, he barely beat Cilic, or it was Dimitrov or somebody, and Federer was beating everybody straight sets. But when the Djokovic matched up with Federer, the Djokovic stepped up to that super level. So, now, if the one thing I can say, if the y'all see, I already jumped from the Federer versus Paire preview to the Djokovic versus Federer. And the reason why that just happened automatically, I guess what I'm saying, this means nothing. Federer can beat Paire. He can even beat Kyrgios. He got to beat the Djokovic. That's what it's all about. But I will say this. He's playing super high level enough that if the Djokovic play just a little down from his high level, Federer can beat a very good Djokovic. I just don't think Federer can beat the super level Djokovic. So there isn't a guarantee that the Djokovic will bring his super level into the he's not playing super level right now. The Djokovic is playing a very good level, but he ain't playing super level. But when he steps in there against Federer and Nadal, he jumps up to super level. So, but let me leave the Federer versus the Djokovic alone. Let's get back. I'll do all that later. But like I said, but my point is, I haven't counted Federer out. Even some Federer fans, they counted Federer almost out, saying even 2 months ago, 3 months ago, people, y'all know I made a video about 4 months ago. I said that it almost happened though. I said that I was talking about how narratives can change and how you think one thing is going to happen and what's supposed to happen doesn't happen, and what you think will happen. Well, what you think would happen does happen. Okay, for example, Nadal almost won the Wimbledon. He was just a point or 2 away from beating the Djokovic. Okay, the Djokovic won. But people also said Nadal could win the Wimbledon this year, and Federer could win the US Open. So I'm just saying, Federer is playing well enough, but to win the US Open, but like I said, he got to get past the Djokovic. Now, I did say this here. This is just a gut feeling. And Nadal is playing well. And Nadal fans could come back at me and say, this is just your little, that means nothing. But I did say that I just got this feeling that the winner of the US Open is going to come from the Federer, the Djokovic side. I just think that because that's the tougher side, and that ain't always the case, but I just think that if Federer beats the Djokovic, I think he'll beat Nadal in the final. I mean, I'd look at it again, and I think if the Djokovic beat Federer, I think the Djokovic will step up and beat Nadal in the final. But that's not a guarantee, and Nadal fans can come back and say that's a bunch of baloney. And I get that. I mean, it has nothing to do with how well Nadal is playing. It's just some momentum thing that, you know how it is. I told y'all this, like in other sports. Like, usually 70% of the time, almost 80%, the player, even if it's a team sports, the player or team that comes from the tougher side of the draw usually wins the championship. Not always. I mean, the Dow is great enough to prove this concept wrong, but I'm saying usually. So that's the reason why I said I think the winner will probably come from this side of the draw. But the Dow is great enough to prove that totally bogus, okay? So I got Federer beating Paire, and I come back, and definitely if it's Federer and Kyrgios, I will preview that, okay? But Federer is playing very well. Federer fans should be very happy. Tennis preacher, prophet, psychic, signing off. Have a good one.
Last one right here. Here we go. Can I dance?